Huh? Why don't you just go skiing?
Well, it's meetings, so I have to.
How are we doing? Moving this afternoon?
Come see you.
Yeah, good. Weather's getting right, so you know, just quit doing everything, get ready. I'm game.
Let's go.
Okay.
I got my Christmas present.
Here's your.
Sundays.
What did you get?
He's catching all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Really?
Oh, boy.
Hey, right after.
Hey, Dad.
Good
That's
time.
poor guy. Carry out.
They get, I contracted that ice.
I know, I thought you already had one. Where you to this time? Where you get?
We could get them with the same, but it's illegal, but you'd have to be the one out there saying. I'd say on the door.
I'm not sure that's what I
Buy you
did.
new one. Buy you new one.
500 and some grams. He hooked it up, you've been hooking it up there. And got that smart box there.
Well, you'll be lost in the screen now.
I might miss a council meeting.
Hi, Stuart.
Howdy.
Careful.
I have 4:30, so we're going to call our meeting to order. Mandy, would you take a roll call, please?
Bob Richard,
There.
Kent Miller,
Here.
Rick Brown,
Yep.
Tony Gingler, Matt Roddy,
Here.
Lloyd Luttrell,
Present.
Robert Peterson.
Present. Okay, thank you. Y'all know the reason for our meeting was our bids were let on our K-14 project, and it come in higher than anticipated. In the meantime, Stuart has been working with KDOT, we've exchanged some communication, and I think they're willing to raise their level up to about $1 million, wasn't it?
That is
And then-
correct.
So our piece is gonna be a little higher. Stuart, you wanna just come on up and
Certainly.
come up to speed?
I guess the quick recap of what has happened is, once again, the K-14 project was let for bids. Bid received last Wednesday in the amount that you have in front of you. Only one bid was received, which is very unfortunate. We are in a geographic area where there are not a lot of concrete contractors that are either capable of doing the work or have interest in coming to Beloit or have interest in working working with KDOT projects because KDOT projects have a lot of paperwork, a lot of requirements. I mean, there's a number of reasons, but we have a legitimate 4 contractors that did this kind of work all over the state. Bryant, Smoky Hill, Pavers, and Votes Fargo. Votes Fargo bid it this time. They did not bid it the first time. Pavers bid it the first time. They did not bid it this time. I know for a fact Smoky Hill has their mobile concrete plant set up out at the airport. They, we were hopeful that they would bid this project. They didn't even submit a bid this time. They didn't even ask any questions this time. Because what I have been told is that they are loaded up with work for this construction year. As soon as they get done here, they're headed out to Norton. They have an airport project and a highway project out in Norton, and then down to Holcomb or someplace down there. So we have one bid. The bid is better than the bid we had a year ago by about $100,000, rough numbers. I don't have that right in front of me. We've talked to KDOT. KDOT initially took the stance that they thought they would be willing to participate some additional funds to this project. That ended up being $1 million. And one clarification that you guys need in the formulation of your decision, or a couple pieces of information. One piece of information is that if the project, when it's all said and done, actually comes in under the estimate or the contract costs that we have in front of us, meaning change order items bring the cost down, or construction engineering or inspection is less than the budgeted amount, the city would be the entity that benefits from that. I did get a clarification on that from Todd Southrank today. So the city would be the entity that benefits in the event that construction or construction engineering end up being less than the amounts in front of you. On the contrary, or on the flip side of that, if there are change order items that drive the construction costs up, the city would be on the hook for those costs. The contractor, there are a few items within the KDOT bid package that may legitimately be underran. Like for instance, the construction job trailer or the construction lab. We don't need it, but KDOT KDOT puts it in their bid package, so the contractor has to price it, and that shows up in this bid number. So that is an item that we would likely underrun, and maybe there are some other items that would actually be underrun because KDOT they put it in their bid package. So I would also say that if the project goes smoothly, I would expect a substantial amount of construction engineering cost savings from what is budgeted. But KDOT has a formula that they have us go through in the preparation of a construction engineering agreement. So that's why it is what you have in front of you is like $160,000. If the construction goes reasonably well, not lots and lots of delays due to weather or other things, I would expect that number to be substantially less. So I think that the city is fairly, I think that the likelihood of construction costs being under the final cost being under the amounts that you have in front of you, there is a reasonable possibility of that. I really do. Let's see here. What else was I going to? The other thing I wanted to go over. We have told the city, I think we told the city at your after the project was bid in the fall of last year that one of the options is to go after more geometric improvement funding for this project. And the reason we were telling you that is because we had been told that by our KDOT liaison. In the process of trying to sort out this bid right here in the last week, KDOT has told us that really is not an option for us. Number one, they say that you cannot apply for more geometric improvement funding for the same defined stretch of road. It does not fit their program. I don't know where to find those rules because internally they have different people that are telling us different things. But this is coming from Todd Southrank, who has been doing this for eons. He's very well versed in this type of paperwork. So, number one, they say that we can't apply for more geometric improvement funds to fix this one in this identified stretch. Number two, they say that if we were to convince them that we wanted to apply for more geometric improvement funds for this stretch of road, those would be fiscal year 2019 funds, and we wouldn't be able to let this project for another 2 years, which I don't think is very palatable to the city. My recommendation would be that while the costs are more than anybody thought they would be, I think we're in a position where we really need to move forward with this project. But I'm more than willing to answer any questions that people have.
What would be, what you were just mentioning, the geometric improvements, what would that consist of?
Okay, this is called a geometric improvement project. So we applied for funding back in 2012, 2013. We were awarded, so we go through all the steps that are associated with designing the project and getting through the right-of-way. We all know what's happened there. So what they had told us originally is we could apply for more geometric improvement money in the May application period, and then it would be awarded in August. You apply in May, awarded in August. But this most recent communication with KDOT and Topeka, those guys are telling us that even if we were allowed to apply new geometric improvement funds to this project, that they would be 2019 funds, and it would be 2 years down the road.
How much we got invested already in this and, getting,
Right-of-ways.
right-of-ways?
Between engineering, right-of-way, court costs, attorney fees, utilities, over for actual cost with the utilities, meaning labor, material, equipment, over 400,000.
We tallied it at 422,000.
Plus this.
So if we do this,
Right project for short distance.
the state pays $1 million, how much more are we gonna have to pay?
You would be looking at 297,000. 189,000 in a payment coming up very soon, and then another 100 up to 108.
And if we don't do it, what we've spent so far is just
Yeah,
gone.
it's gone, and I believe the only way to get back into the funding mix is to start applying again, and we're looking at probably 2020, 2019 before it would be ready to go.
But what we've done out there, I know the utilities are moved and everything. Do we have the right now to tear out hedgerows and everything else, whatever we want to do?
Yeah, that's part of the bid.
It is part of the bid. The city conceivably could do that. I actually talked about that item with the contractor that did the project, Votes Parga. Those are the same guys, just for everybody's information, those are the same guys that built the North Campus project. And we got along with them well. They do good work, in my opinion. They said that they would be willing to underrun the tree removal if that's something the city wanted to do. It is not big ticket items, but somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 is what they told me.
Any prospect of the tech college doing dirt work, is that out the window?
That's not feasible for a project like this for a couple of reasons. KDOT is there are a lot of rules for doing dirt work on KDOT, and getting the tech college people there when you need them and this is a 3-phase project. We have to keep access to the Chapman property, keep access to the Tice property on the opposite side of the street, which makes it a 3-phase project, and that just does not fit the tech college well at all.
Okay, this project consists of what? Is this gonna be blacktop, concrete?
Concrete,
No curb and gutter?
curb and gutter.
All right.
This is curb and gutter.
Why do we have to have curb and gutter?
Well, that is the way the project has been put.
Couldn't that be reduced down without a curb and gutter?
It could, but that would require a complete redesign and going back through KDOT's review process, which would delay the project by at least a year and a half. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. It's something that we have discussed. In an urban setting, we try to move towards curb and gutter in areas where we can, so that we are reducing erosion coming off at the edge of the roads.
Isn't that a lot of the whole purpose of this?
Yeah.
It is.
Was to,
It is.
By
you know,
doing,
reduce.
by doing that though, that doesn't mean that you can just reduce that cost off of what this bid is, because you'd have to rebid the project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
In 2 or 3 years, you don't know what it cost you.
There was a local contractor that did those tree removals that was in this bid,
Yes.
and so that's kind of,
That's a good point. If the desire was to reduce the cost of the $10,000 or whatever, you would be taking those dollars out of, away from the city's expense, moving them into like the city employees' work to do, but you'd be taking that work away from a local contractor in this case, because I am aware of that.
and I was talking to him today, and he explained to me that he bid that and lowered his bid down because he would get the trees,
Mhm.
and then so that his income would come from selling the posts, so there's a lot tied into,
Yep.
and I didn't realize that myself, so.
Couple other things.
Yes.
This will start with the concrete ends right now,
No, it does not.
so we're gonna have a piece of.
There will be a gap in there, and we would certainly recommend that we fill in that gap and we extend on to the north with future geometric improvement projects.
But not right now.
But not right now. The reason, the reason we're hopping over and going right to the bottom is because that's where the problem is at.
How much wider is that road gonna be?
Good question. It's a standard KDOT road. It'd be 24 foot wide plus, I think it's 24 foot plus 2 foot curb and gutters on both sides.
So 28 to 28?
Yeah, something like 28 back to back.
Oh, curb to curb.
Yeah, back to curb, back to curb. But I would have to, and I don't have that, unfortunately, I don't have that in front of me without,
What is it now, about
I thought it was
16
31
feet?
feet.
it might be, is it 31 back to
That's what
back?
the plan I looked at a year ago.
Okay, so what it is a 26 foot set of driving lanes and then 2.5 foot curb and gutter on both sides. I
Or
think.
what now,
that's right.
Mike? Maybe
31,
21?
31. Like the
Right now?
streets that we build right now are 31 back to back. And I
But I
believe
mean,
that's
that
the way
part
they're
is still there, the asphalt part.
He's asking what the width of the asphalt is right now. It's probably
Oh, the
22.
asphalt, probably 22, 23.
Yeah,
So that's
Yeah,
gonna be great.
It's a lot.
yeah. It'll be a substantial improvement. There's no doubt about that.
Just about where you put that cement in out there, about where. Yeah, pretty much. We didn't
Hey,
measure
I
it.
spent a lot of nervous moments out there working on cable with that road. People flying by in the truck and just went up section.
The culvert's deteriorated.
It is in very
Terrible,
tough
yeah.
condition. I didn't realize how bad it was until Mike was getting ready to make the repairs on the edges of the road, right at that box culvert, and I met him out there and I looked at it and it is in really tough shape.
I don't think we have much choice.
What originally did we budgeted for this project?
Do you remember that, Mandy?
Well,
Because the bid
I-
was 750,000 was the state's portion in the original one.
yeah, I can answer a little bit of that
5%.
question. What you originally committed to, and I'll read this off of one of KDOT's forms. It says, this project has been approved for fiscal year 2015 geometric improvement program. The state will participate in construction engineering and construction at a 95%, 5% split, up to a lump sum of $750,000. The city will be responsible for 100% of design engineering, which was $68,000, right-of-way and utilities, plus any non-participating construction costs, like attorney fees, like some of the other,
Surveying.
surveying, some of the other costs that were incurred in the right-of-way acquisition.
Most of all, those will already paid though.
Those are paid.
Speaking about KDOT, I've been kind of watching the state politics stuff, and it seems like the state's having a budget crisis right now. If we don't use this, is there a strong likelihood we won't get it back?
Well, you will lose it, and then we would have to start applying again.
Right, but
And-
they keep raiding the KDOT funds, you keep reading the paper and all this is.
I think that is a legitimate concern. My opinion is that the local projects funds have, and this is a local this is called a local project. Those funds have generally remained in place, at least in some capacity, probably diminished, but remained in place. It's the major transportation projects that have really been cut, the big ones, the multi-million-dollar projects that have had their funds slashed. And we've seen that on some projects.
So KDOT's willing to put in an extra 250,000 basically was.
Yes, that is correct.
The
And-
nice thing about it, we get that one payment gets shoved into next year for 108,000.
Mhm.
And we have the money in the CIP to fund this. And we're bringing in around 50,000 a month, I think, on our CIP is what's coming in. So that allows us to recoup, you know, a couple of months. We've got the 100,000 for next year, plus we got our money coming back that we've paid out to the airport that's being refunded to us as we're moving along. Is that correct, Mandy? So right now, we could talk to Mandy earlier, and she said that we can handle this without putting us in any pinch for that 189,000 that's due right
And
now.
that-
We just
and that
gotta let
includes
them
all
make-
of the projects that are supposed to be funded out of that.
Yeah. What about Main Street?
That will be a
Any
different
other- any other
funding,
project.
yes.
Well, I know, but
But they're to be,
that,
they're probably
capital
going to be paid
improvement,
out of that.
we designated that a couple of years ago that would go for Main Street.
Yeah, it is, but it'll still be there, and we'll be having income coming in the whole time. And then with that, we'll probably have to have a bond issue or to finance that.
I understand
You know,
that.
so,
We
but-
figured, the way we talked, the bond would be less and.
Correct, that's what we're shooting
Trying
for,
to-
but,
the
you
le-
know,
yeah.
this kind of came up not like we had planned,
Business
so.
wise.
But we'll have the money, we'll have more money coming in throughout the whole year on our sales tax.
Is East Main still gonna happen this year?
Well, that is the plan. We, just like we talked last fall, we wanted to hold off bidding that project until we knew what we were doing on this one. And so if we decide to award this one, my contractor indicated he would probably start in May May 15th is the late start date, so he has to start by the middle of May. And by the time you get contracts inked in a pre-construction meeting, it'll probably take the better part of that time anyway. But if he starts in the middle of May, this project probably goes through the middle of end of September, early October, something like that. And what we would do is we would have the East Main Street project bid probably around the middle of July, sometime when it's close enough that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel for K-14, but still early enough that the contractor that's here and working wouldn't hopefully have already been loaded up with more work when he gets done, so that maybe he could just move over and start here in town, if everything's going well. But
Could we be running into the same issue out there that we're running into now, as far as lack of bidders?
well, we sure could, but
It's not.
I would, yeah, that's one thing. The Main Street project won't be KDOT. That changes the game for a lot of bidders. You might get,
So a lot of the bidders don't necessarily work for, just do KDOT
that's
project.
correct.
Just because they're kind of.
Yeah, because
Well,
they are what they are.
the contractor that bid is done our streets up there.
Correct.
So see, that KDOT didn't have nothing to do with that.
But there are only so many contractors that are willing to work with KDOT.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's conceivable, maybe you could get a contractor like Singer Construction, local guy. Maybe he would be interested in the East Main Street project. He had no interest in the K-14 project. I don't know, I haven't talked to him. I'm just saying that there are concrete contractors around that,
I talked to John Wrench, he's out.
I know.
He's not doing that anymore.
No. Another thing to consider is that, say, 6 months down the road, the environment might look quite a bit different. I know that there has been a number of concrete projects that have been let in the last, say, 6 months. Some of it was due to airport financing, some of which you got, but there were other airports that received some grant funding, and there were timelines on those projects, and they kind of all hit at the same time. And that takes some of our good contractors out of the marketplace.
Yeah, I think we need to go with this. We've wasted money.
Any other questions for Stuart at this time? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the approval of the project, K-14 project, in the amount of $297,000 with the remittance of $189,000 before 4/7/2016. It's been moved by Councilman Brown that we approve the K-14 project in the amount of $297,000. Have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Mandy, would you take a, excuse me?
Go ahead on this, and I think you need to just approve the overall bid from Oaks Construction
Oh,
as
for the
well.
whole, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but this is fine.
To approve the, you withdraw your motion.
Okay.
You withdraw your second?
Yeah.
Okay. I need a motion that we approve the K-14 project in the amount of $1,136,037.25.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Brown, we approve the K-14 project in the amount of $1,136,037.25. Second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Mandy, please take a roll call vote.
Richard,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Brown,
Yep.
Gingler,
Yes.
Audi,
Yes.
Latrell,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Okay.
And then, sorry to be a pain, it may not hurt to have a separate, just sort of motion so that it's clear that the city's knows that their match is up to could be 297, estimate of 297, rather than the 95.5.
So moved.
In the amount of how much?
Well, here it says on the front, city matching funds in the amount of 297.
297.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That way it's clear in the minutes.
297,000 even. Okay, we have the motion by Councilman Audi, do we have a second?
Good.
Councilman Richard, any further discussion? No further discussion, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
I mean, that way too, so the people will
No,
know, hey, it's not costing us over $1 million to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I entertain a, do you have anything else?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Brown, that we adjourn. Second?
What? Second.
Second by Councilman Richard, any further discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same, motion carries, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming in on short notice. Manny, does this need to be signed by a couple of council members too?
It looks like it. I've never seen a form like that, but that's what it appears to be.
Mandy, will